Hey guys, I'm throwing together a quick video on how to wire up an LED tail light and turn signals for most motorcycles. So what I'm showing you on here is a mid-70s Honda CB550. This process will be almost identical for all Hondas from the 70s and possibly even later than that, or a very similar process on most other bikes. So the light I'm going to be wiring in is going to be one of these universal LED strips right here. So it's going to have the brake light, the tail light, and the turn signals all in one light. But I will walk through the small difference if you are actually going to be using individual turn signals as well. So we'll go step by step here, and I'll walk you through the process. Okay, step one here is going to be kind of why you would want to go with an LED light on your motorcycle. So there's really three reasons why you'd want to convert to LED lights. So first one is going to be cosmetic. So obviously LED lights can be a whole lot smaller, can kind of change the whole design of the back of the bike, really clean it up. The stock tail lights on these bikes are absolutely huge. So that's number one. Number two is going to be for safety. LED lights tend to be significantly brighter than the stock, incandescent bulbs. So they're going to be able to be seen from farther away. They're going to be a lot brighter. They're going to, stick out more, which in the motorcycles, the name of the game is being as safe as possible. So safety is a huge factor. The third one is going to be just because they do last a lot longer. So, incandescent bulbs tend to burn out, and you have to replace them, and you could be riding your bike without knowing your brake light is out, without checking it kind of every time you go on the bike. So your bulb could have burned out and you don't know it, and you're riding around without a brake light. So LEDs last thousands and thousands of hours, so they rarely ever have to be replaced. So those are the three reasons: looks, safety, and then the benefit of not having to replace them very often. The next step is going to be determining what style of light you want to go with on your bike. And of course this can vary based on what kind of bike you have, what kind of space you have, what design you're going for, the overall feel of the bike. So you can go with kind of a more stock approach with a light that is just the tail light and brake light, and then a separate turn signal indicator for each side. If you want to keep it kind of stock feel, or you can do what I've done on this particular bike and gone with one of these units that includes all of it in one. So, one side's turn signal, the other side's turn signal, and the middle is the tail light and brake light. So the wiring, again, is very similar. It's just kind of dependent on what you want to do on your bike and the style you're going for. Alright, the things you're going to need to do this to your bike are going to be, of course, the new tail light. If you're going to be doing turn signals, you'll also need the turn signals for the front, heat shrink, a new flasher relay designed to work with LED lights, and I will have the link to all of this stuff in the description below. Going to need wire strippers, soldering iron and solder, then either your stock wiring to mate or marry into the new wire, or some factory style bullet connectors and the proper crimp tool to go with them. Some other miscellaneous stuff, electrical tape and that kind of stuff could be useful too, but this is kind of the main things you're going to need. Okay, the next step is going to be figuring out what wires on your new light control which circuits. The beauty of these inexpensive lights is this is exactly what comes in the box, is the light, and that's it. So they don't give you any kind of wiring diagram or anything about what any of these wires do. So I'll kind of walk you through how I figure out what exactly does what. So I just grab a battery. You can use the battery right out of your bike or any battery you have laying around that's 12 volt. The black wire is, pretty much guaranteed to be ground. I haven't run across one that wasn't the case yet. So what I do is just connect the ground wire. Then this is what I use my test light for, basically just as a jump lead. Connect that to the positive wire, and then we'll just run to each one of these wires and see what they do. and make a note of that. So we have the orientation of our light facing us, the way it's going to sit on the bike. And we'll go here, so we got white wire. Okay, so that's either the tail light or the brake light. We don't know yet. And we'll go to the next wire. This happens to be a green wire. Okay, that looks like it's right turn signal. It's green. Then we have a yellow wire, which is left turn signal, and a red wire. Okay, so red wire seems brighter than the white. So red is going to be the brake light, and white is going to be the tail light. So the difference, of course, being tail light is what's on when your headlights are on. Brake light is, of course, the brake light. So that's how you can easily determine what these wires do. I'll just get a little piece of paper and write down, white equals, tail light, green equals right signal, yellow equals left signal, red equals brake. So just so I can remember. So that's how you figure that out on this. I'll show you how to figure out the corresponding wires on the bike itself. So on classic Hondas, there's one grouping of wires, which is this set right here, and this is what's going to run to your taillight and your turn signals. So you're going to have a green, which is going to have a different connector than this, but the wire is going to be the same for old Hondas. On older Hondas, the green is a common ground. Then you're going to have an orange wire, a sky blue, so a light blue wire, a brown wire, and then a green with a yellow stripe. So these are all going to be wrapped up together and running to, your stock tail. So you can pull all the connectors off, and you have these, and this is how you determine what these do. So I'm actually going to show you on the wiring diagram these wires and how we're going to correspond them with the ones we just figured out about the new light. We have the wiring diagram pulled up here. So these are the 3 lights we're replacing, all with that one LED strip. Right turn signal, stop light, and tail light, and then left turn signal. So we need to start looking at the wires and see what they do. So I just showed you the ones on the back of the bike, and they're going to correspond right here. So we have a dark green, we have a orange, we have a sky blue. So you can see these are all the wires I just showed you on the back of the bike. So each turn signal has a dark green, which is a ground. So all 3 of those are replaced by the one ground on the new light, which happens to be the black wire. So that black wire is going to go right into the dark green coming off of the bike itself. Then we need to go to the turn signals. So turn signal is going to be the right turn signal is a sky blue. That's what the SB is. So sky blue is that light bluish color. So the light that made our right turn signal turn on is going to go to the sky blue. The wire that made our left turn signal turn on in our new strip is going to go to orange. Then we have a tail light and a brake light. So on Hondas, the brake light is going to be the yellow stripe on the green wire. And how I figure that out is this green / yellow. You can follow this line all the way, and I know this is probably going to be hard to see, all the way up to the stop switches. So that's the actual switch that turns on the brake light, and you can see it has a green and a yellow wire. So that's how you know that one is the brake light. And then the only wire left is a brown, and that's going to be your tail light. So this should be the same for most older Hondas. But again, if you have a different bike or trying to retrofit to this something other than a Honda, you can look at your manual and see, okay, one of these wires is going to run to a brake light switch. That's going to be your brake light wire. The other one is going to run, most likely to the headlight. That's going to be your normal tail light, running light, the light that's basically on all the time, and then your signals. So to kind of go over again, we have a ground, and instead of 3 grounds, since we only have 1 light now, we only have to worry about that 1 ground on our new light. Then we have sky blue for the right, orange for the left, green with a yellow stripe for the brake light, and brown for the tail light. So now we go on to actually adding wires and connectors to our new light so that they can plug right into those stock connectors. Now that we have all of our wiring figured out and where each one of these wires is going to go on the bike itself, we actually need to kind of solder in new wires. So for whatever reason, these tail lights always come with a very thin gauge wire connected to them. So we need to not only extend this a little bit, but also put a little bit thicker gauge wire and put it into a bullet connector so that we can actually plug it into our stock wiring harness. So I have my little note list here. So what I do is I have each color of the wires that are coming out of the new light, what each one of those does, so ground, brake light, left turn signal, etc., and then what color on the factory wiring harness that should go to. So I have black wire equals ground equals dark green, red equals brake equals green yellow, etc. So I have my list here. Then here's where you have two different options. So you can either go with a brand new wire and brand new connectors similar to these. So I got these off Amazon. I will throw a link in the description. These are like factory style bullet connectors, so you can put these on any wire and be ready to plug them right into your factory harness. That being said, you do need a special tool in order to crimp these properly onto the wire. Your other option, which is actually the route I like to go, is you're going to sacrifice your factory wiring to your taillight. That way you can actually have the exact color match and factory bullet connectors on your wires. So some Honda purists and stuff are going to be mad that you're doing that, but in my honest opinion, it's the best way to do it, just because I like having my wiring match exactly, just for future owners of the bike and everything. They're not going to have to kind of track down the same thing you had to, because all the wiring will match to the factory wiring. So that's what I'm going to do. So I have all of the colors of factory wires with the male bullet connectors on the end. So now all we're going to need to do is strip back each one of these, and then we're actually going to solder them to their corresponding wire on the new light. We're going to put heat shrink around it, and then we'll probably do one larger heat shrink around this whole bundle to have it nice and clean. So we're going to get to work. Now that we have all of our soldering done and all of our connections are heat shrinked, we can kind of test them out and make sure they're still working. So the dark green should be the ground. And then let's see, we'll go in order here. So brake light should be green with a white or yellow stripe. Brake light. Then next is going to be left turn signal should be orange. Right turn signal sky blue. And finally the tail light is brown. Boom. So all of our connections are good. So I'm going to put one larger piece of heat shrink over the wire, new wire all the way, kind of, so they're all nice and kind of stuck together. Alright, we're over here on the back of the bike now. So how your light's going to be mounted is completely, different. Kind of just depends on what bike you're working on and what kind of light and everything. But mine's going to be mounted right to the back of the frame hoop, right around here. It does have adhesive on it, but I'll probably run like a zip tie just around the outside edges, make sure it sticks nicely, make sure it stays on, and you shouldn't be able to see the zip ties if they're black anyway. So then the wire is going to kind of run down under this, under here, up into my battery box, which on a factory bike, you wouldn't necessarily have a battery box, but you could run it the same way through and into where your normal electronics are, and you'll find these wires we talked about earlier. Since we color match them to exactly what the factory ones are, it's literally just a matter of plugging them into the correct colors. Next step back here is going to be to swap out our flasher relay. On Hondas, it's just this little silver flasher relay with two wires on it. Of course, the one I have has two prongs on it to match. So you can pull those off. Keep an eye on which wire goes to what. On the back side of this, there's an L and a B. So I know the wire I just pulled off goes to the L terminal. Same on the new one. There's an L and a B, so pretty self-explanatory. Just kind of match them up to the correct wire. And that's it for the flasher relay. Now we'll move on to the front of the bike. So up here on the front, I pulled my headlight out. It's just 3 Phillips screws around the outside to expose all the factory wiring. I've already pulled my factory turn signals off, but to hook up the new ones, you see I have them mounted right here on the side. I just got nice simple flush mounted ones. So the wiring is basically the same as the back. There's going to be an orange and a sky blue, and then a ground. So these new lights have two wires, a power and a ground. The power, which is the colored wire in this case, goes to the corresponding one. So the left light here is the orange. So the orange, or from the power wire on this one, is yellow, but it goes to the power on that side, which is the orange connector here. So it's a multiple connector because it runs the indicator light and everything. So you'll basically put your power wire into the orange connector. The black or the ground wire for the light goes into a green multi-connector, and green, like I said earlier, is a common ground on these bikes. For the right side, if you remember from the back, it's a sky blue. So we're going to take the yellow power wire right here. We're going to locate the sky blue connector, which happens to be right here. And we're going to thread this guy in there. Just like that. Make sure to push it all the way in and get a nice connection. Then the black from that goes to, the common ground, which is the dark green. Put that in nicely too. And that is it. So this is literally ready to button back up. That's all it takes to connect the turn signals in the front. Alright, now we have everything hooked up. Before we put everything back together, you want to make sure to test everything. I apologize if you can hear the noise of my battery charger behind it. My battery was running a little bit low, so I had to plug it in. But we turn the key on. You can see tail light comes on, headlight still comes on, so everything seems to be working well there. We hit the brake. Hopefully you can tell. Brake light is working. Then we will hit the left turn signal. Working there. Indicator's working, and since my battery's a little low, it's a little dim on the head or the front turn signals, but you can see that they are working. Go for the right turn signal. Working there, and very dimly flashing up there. But you can tell they are in fact working. So everything's good to go. So I'm ready to button everything back up. Alright guys, that's going to be it for the down and dirty quick video for how to wire up LED lights on your bike. If you liked this video, make sure to check out some of my other ones. It's been a while since I did kind of an in-depth how-to video like this one, but by request I tried to put this one together. So if there's anything else you guys want to see, that I can throw together kind of a quick how-to video, or if anything within my power to be able to put it together, I'll try to do so. So leave a comment below on any other videos you guys might like to see. Check out the rest of the build of this bike. There will be another video coming out in the next day or so of kind of the next steps to getting this bike closer to being done. So that's going to be it for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.